All right, so in this module, we're going to talk about your app listing. So, this is the part where you go onto the App Store, whether if it's on your iPhone or your iPad, and you type in some keywords for the app that you're searching for. Your app listing is what appears over here. So, you get an app icon, your app name, you'll see the ratings of the app, as well as two screenshots, usually side by side. Now, the first component of your listing that I want to talk about is the app icon. Now, if you've done the app design course, then you'll have seen me stress over and over again just how important design is, because design is so emotional. It really conjures up feelings in your users. And at the end of the day, when a user is looking through the App Store, the selection process is very simple. It's usually down to how the product looks, whether if it draws you in at the first instance, and what are the ratings that it's got. So, for example, typically if you're searching for a to-do list app, your mind will wander down the list and see ugly icon, bad reviews, bad reviews, bad reviews. So you narrow down a huge list of maybe 10 apps to only 2 or 3 that look relatively good and has relatively decent reviews. So essentially, to make your app one of those, you have to think about design. You have to think about your app icon and your screenshots. So, how do you go about making an app icon if you're not a graphic designer yourself? Well, there's quite a few freelance designers out there, and an easy way of reaching them is through a website called Fiverr.com. Now, the premise of Fiverr.com is that you can pay anybody $5 for them to do a really simple task or a simple job for you. Now, there's a lot of people on there who will advertise their services for designing professional app icons, and you can get an app icon designed for, $5, which is nothing. But the thing to be wary about when you're procuring services on Fiverr is that, one, you have to make sure that the designs that they give you are for commercial use. So that might incur a little bit of extra cost, and most of the designers will list it as an add-on. But it just means that down the line, you won't end up with a lawsuit that you've infringed somebody's rights, etc. So always look out for that. And if they don't have that listed, be sure to message them and get something in writing. The second thing to note about Fiverr is that the quality is really variable. So there's a lot of people who pass off as designers, and the final job that you get might not look similar to what they've displayed on their portfolio. But given the fact that the cost is relatively low, you should get multiple designers to do the gig for you. So at least thinking about 5 or 6. Now, the other thing to remember is that the images that these designers are creating for you can be, and sometimes I've seen it, taken from other sources. So they didn't actually design it themselves. So when you do get a design from one of these designers, be sure to do a reverse Google search on that and check to make sure that they haven't basically just stolen it from the internet. Again, Fiverr is a great platform and it has its uses, but just keep some of those caveats in mind when you are going about procuring services on there. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is a website called 99 Designs, and this works slightly differently from Fiverr. The premise here is that you put out a gig, so you're saying that, for example, I want a book cover called Becoming Superhuman, and it's about X, Y, and Z, and a whole bunch of designers will come and pitch for your job by producing designs. So the design's already there for you to see. You won't get the final files or the larger files, but that's fine. It's just about you seeing if out of any of these that you actually like. And you only pay when you decide that one of these is something that you would definitely want. So this way, it means that instead of buying 5 or 6 gigs like the way that you do on Fiverr, you are guaranteed something that you want, because if there's nothing in there that you like, then you don't have to pay anybody the gig, essentially.